What happens when you drop the most advanced soldiers of the modern age into the greatest army of the ancient world? Imagine this, a single platoon of 43 United States Marines, outnumbered more than 100 to 1, staring down 5,000 Roman legionaries. The Marines have automatic weapons and a 21st century warrior mindset. The Romans? They have iron discipline, overwhelming numbers, and a commander who does the one thing nobody expects: he adapts. This is the story of an impossible last stand and a clash of worlds that would forever change the art of war. Our story kicks off not in some desert or jungle we know, but in a place completely unbound by time. 1 minute, a standard rifle platoon of 43 Marines is gearing up for deployment. The next, they're standing on a grassy field under a sun that just feels wrong. The air smells like wood smoke and damp earth. Every piece of their modern tech is dead. GPS, comms, radios all gone. This platoon is a walking powerhouse. They're carrying M for carbines and M27 IARS, rifles that can hit a target over 500 meters away. They've got M320 grenade launchers, fragmentation grenades, and their M9 sidearms. But the real game changers are the 3 M24 machine guns, each capable of spitting out almost 1,000 rounds a minute to shred enemy formations from a kilometer out. On top of all that, they're decked out in advanced body armor, have night vision, and are trained to think and fight in small, flexible fire teams. These guys are physically bigger, stronger, and better fed than almost any soldier from a pre-industrial world. Their new reality becomes terrifyingly clear when scouts spot a column of soldiers marching their way. This isn't a modern army, it's a Roman legion. 5,000 men, a flowing river of steel and red-crested helmets, marching like they owned the world, and back then, they did. Every single legionary is a walking fortress, armed with the iconic Scutum shield and Larica segmentata armor. For offense, they have the short, deadly gladius for up-close killing, and to heavy javelins called pila, designed to tear through shields and stop a charge at 30 meters. Leading them is a legatus, a brilliant and pragmatic commander. To him, war is a brutal math problem of numbers, discipline, and melee. When he spots this small, strangely dressed band of men on a ridge, he just sees an easy win. He's got them outnumbered more than 100 to 1. His centurions, the tough-as-nails backbone of his legion, start barking orders. For the legatus, this is just another Tuesday. For the Marines, it's the fight of their lives. As the sun rises, the Roman commander makes his first move. He sees these weirdly dressed guys as just another group of disorganized barbarians, so he orders a direct, frontal assault to simply steamroll them. The first cohort, almost 500 men, locks their shields into that famous testudo formation. The tortoisan starts moving. The rest of the legion marches right behind them, ready to pour through the gap. The ground literally starts to shake. From 500 meters away, the Marine lieutenant watches through his binoculars and gives a calm, simple order over his working squad radio: light M up. What happens next is something the ancient world has no words for. The 3 M24 machine guns open up at the same time. The sound isn't thunder, it's a deafening, non-stop crackle of man-made lightning. The effect on the Roman front line is apocalyptic. The 5.56mm rounds, moving at nearly 3 times the speed of sound, don't just bounce off the Roman shields. They rip through the wood, the iron, and the armor behind it like it's all paper. Men in the front rank just disintegrate. The legendary testudo, designed to stop arrows and spears, is shredded in seconds. Legionaries who only knew combat as a gritty, face-to-face struggle are now dying from an enemy they can't even see. There's no arrow in the air, no catapult stone. Just the sound, and then death. Panic erupts. These are the same disciplined lines that held against charging Gauls and cunning Carthaginians, and now they're starting to break. Then the M320 grenade launchers join the party. 40mm high explosive rounds arc across the field and drop into the middle of the advancing formations. The explosions throw bodies everywhere, shattering the shield wall and what was left of Roman morale. Men who had never known real fear start screaming, thinking the gods themselves are striking them down. The first Roman assault is over in less than 5 minutes. The field is covered with over 1,000 dead and wounded Romans. The few javelins they managed to throw landed hundreds of meters short. The survivors are in a full-blown rout. The Marines cease fire, barrels smoking, and take in the absolute carnage. They haven't been touched, but the sight is grim. They just proved that the technology gap between them isn't a gap, it's a chasm. Back on the Roman side, the shock is turning into horrified confusion. The legatus stares at the slaughter. His best cohort was just wiped out without getting close enough to even draw their swords. His men are terrified, whispering about sorcery and angry gods. But this commander is a student of legends like Scipio Africanus and Julius Caesar. A lesser man would have run, a dumber one would have ordered another charge. But he's a problem solver and he starts putting the pieces together. He gathers his surviving officers, he listens to the panicked reports. And the facts, however insane, become clear. The enemy fights from an impossible distance. Their weapons are loud, lethal, and make armor completely useless. And there are very few of them. He realizes that charging them across an open field is just suicide. So he decides to change the game. His first order is a shocker: disperse. He tells his legionaries to break formation and use the terrain for cover. This goes against everything Roman military doctrine stands for, but it's the only way. Then he sends his archers forward, not to do damage he knows they're out of range, but to probe. He needs to make the Marines fire again. He needs to figure out the rhythm of their weapons, and more importantly, how much of this thunder they actually have. As night falls, the real adaptation begins. The legatus knows he can't win a ranged fight, but he still has almost 4,000 men. He has time, and he has the land. Under the cover of darkness, he sends small units on wide flanking maneuvers, not to attack, but to encircle. He's turning this battle into a siege. He starts playing mind games, too. He orders his men to build huge bonfires in a ring around the Marine position, just out of rifle range, to ruin their night vision advantage. Horns are blown from different directions all night long to keep the Marines awake, on edge, and hopefully get them to waste precious ammo on shadows. The legatus has figured out the Marines' single greatest weakness: logistics. He can live off the land. The Marines, he bets, have a limited supply of their magic. He has stopped fighting their war and is now forcing them to fight his. Part 4. The Sieg Day dawns with a suffocating silence. The Marines are completely surrounded. The Romans are everywhere and nowhere at once, ghosts moving through the trees right at the edge of rifle range. The turkey shoot has turned into a tense, nerve-wracking standoff. The Marine lieutenant knows they're in deep trouble. The real enemy wasn't the Romans anymore. It was their ammo count. Every Marine started with about 210 rounds for their rifle, plus the belts for the machine guns. After that first day, a huge chunk of it is gone. From now on, every single shot has to count. Fire discipline becomes absolute. No more just spraying an area. The psychological pressure is immense. The threat is now 360 degrees, 24/7. Exhaustion starts to creep in. They try to operate in shifts, but real sleep is impossible with the constant blare of Roman horns and shouts from the darkness. Meanwhile, the legatus keeps tightening the noose. He's patient. He uses his manpower to dig trenches in a huge circle around the Marines, slowly closing the distance. He sends small groups of skirmishers in fake attacks, not trying to win, but just to make the Marines shoot. Every crack of a rifle is music to his ears, because it's one less thunderbolt he'll have to face later. He is willing to sacrifice dozens of his own men just to drain a few hundred more of their rounds. During one of these probes, a Roman archer gets a lucky shot, and an arrow hits the platoon sergeant in the leg. It's not a fatal wound in the 21st century, but here, with no medevac and no modern antibiotics, it's a disaster. The platoon's corpsman patches him up, but now infection is a ticking clock. They're wounded, low on ammo, and hopelessly outnumbered. The gods of technology from day 1 have become very mortal men by day 3. The siege is working. Part 5, the final stondome. The dawn of the 4th day, the horns go silent, and eerie quiet falls over the hill. The Marines, exhausted and sleep-deprived, check their mags one last time. The M2 are down to their last belts. The riflemen are counting individual rounds. They know what's coming. The Roman legatus has decided the time is right. His men have spent days watching and learning. Their terror has been forged into a cold, vengeful anger. They've seen that these strange warriors can bleed, and they've heard their fire slacken. From all sides, the legion attacks. But this isn't the clumsy advance of the first day. This is a coordinated swarm. The Romans rush forward in loose waves, using every tree and rock for cover. Archers launch volleys high into the air, forcing the Marines to keep their heads down. The M2 roar to life one last time, their final belts tearing through the first wave, but the Romans don't stop. They just climb over their own dead and keep coming. The Marine riflemen fire with methodical precision, picking off officers to break the chain of command, but for everyone that falls, two more take his place. The perimeter is breached. The fight devolves into a desperate, close-quarters slugfest. Rifles run dry and Marines transition to their pistols. The fight is now at 20 meters, then 10. At last, the Romans are in their element. The last few grenades are thrown, but the tide is unstoppable. Finally, the guns go silent. It's now a fight of bayonets and kabar knives against the gladius and shield. In this final, brutal contest, the Romans are masters. The Marines fight like cornered lions, but they are overwhelmed. The lieutenant goes down, fighting back-to-back with his radio man. The wounded sergeant, propped against a tree, uses his sidearm until he's overrun. One by one, they are swallowed by the red tide. The last man standing is a young lance corporal. His rifle is empty, his bayonet bloody. He stands over his fallen comrades, facing a circle of grim-faced legionaries. He lets out one last, defiant war cry and charges forward, knife in hand, straight into a forest of Roman steel. Part 6, the Oftimov battle is over. The legatus walks the now quiet hilltop, and the cost is staggering. Out of his original 5,000 men, nearly 4,000 are dead or wounded. He lost 8 full cohorts to kill just 43 enemies. He won, sure, but at a price so high it feels more like a defeat. He looks at the strange gear of the fallen warriors, trying to make sense of it all. He knows he didn't just beat a band of soldiers. He survived a terrifying glimpse into the future of war. The story of the 43 warriors who fought with thunder would become a Roman legend, a cautionary tale for new recruits about a foe that was almost supernatural. The Roman Empire would march on, but its brilliant commander now understood a chilling truth, that discipline and numbers, the very pillars of his world, could be made almost meaningless by superior technology. For the Marines, their story ends on that forgotten hill. They proved the devastating power of modern firepower. But their ultimate defeat highlights a timeless lesson of war. Technology is an incredible advantage, but it's not invincible. Without supplies, without support, even the best soldiers in the world are vulnerable. In the end, this battle wasn't just about guns versus swords. It was about logistics and attrition. The Romans won not because they were better fighters, but because they could absorb horrifying losses and simply outlast their enemy. Technology gave the Marines an edge, but it was the Roman commander's ability to adapt and exploit his enemy's single weakness that won the day. He turned his slaughter into a siege, and a siege into a victory, proving that in war, nothing is truly impossible. Ktasso, what do you think? Could the Marines have done anything differently to survive? Drop your strategy in the comments below, and if you love epic what-if scenarios like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next Clash of Titans.